Hello everyone, welcome back to another video on Keen. In this video, we will discuss on Keen's latest Webpack installation. It's very similar to our regular default installation that you've seen in our previous video, but there are some minor differences and we will go through it one by one. So the first thing to do is, as usual, you will need to purchase and download Keen via the Get Bootstrap website. So to demonstrate that, let's go ahead to go to getbootstrap.com and then we go to the themes. Just scroll down a little bit and you see Keen as one of the popular themes. Click on that and you have an option to live preview it or add to cart. So once you add to cart, just go ahead and purchase Keen, and once you've downloaded Keen, you'll be given a zip file, and what you have to do is just extract it. Alright, so let's go ahead and extract it. Oops, just extract here, and yep. Alright, so let's go ahead and open Keen, which is you'll be basically welcomed with three main folders: design, docs, and theme. The design is where we keep our design files, which is our PSD and our sketch file. Docs is our official documentation, and theme, which is where we will be working on for the installation soon. But first, let's go ahead and visit our docs and go to the index. Go index and go to docs and go to Webpack. So in our documentation, we give you similar with our GUP installation, we give you a very quick step-by-step on what you need to do to basically get Keen up and running on your local machine. If you need more info on Webpack, we also provide more documentation under the build tools, and then go to Webpack. Let's open that in a new tab. Have a look here. So if you don't know, Webpack is basically a module bundler, which is primarily for JavaScript. And what it does, it just bundles up things like HTML, CSS, or plugins and whatnot into very neat and tidy assets. So we will also go through all these options here within this video, but let's first run our quick start. So the first step is to download Keen from the Get Bootstrap marketplace, which what you already saw, and then you will need to download and install the latest Node.js. You can just click on this link and then install either the Windows or Mac. And what we need to do is we need to navigate to the theme tools folder, which is located here in our Keen package root, and then go to our theme, go to tools. So this is the place that you want to be, and then open up your terminal or command prompt. So to do that, for Windows, you just have to click on the address bar and type in cmd, and you open up a terminal with the path already preloaded. Okay, so next we need to install npm and yarn. So let's go ahead and do that. If you have already installed npm and yarn, you don't really need to do this, but it's always good to keep your npm and yarn up to date. And again, if you do not have npm or yarn installed on your machine already, this task or this step will take a lot longer, as what you see here. So now let's go ahead and install yarn. Okay, done, and then we need to run yarn. So what this does is it just installs all of Keen's dependencies, such as, if you can see here, a full calendar, and you may see like other things like block UI, Bootstrap date time, and so on. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fast forward until the end of the yarn installation and get back to you once it's done. Okay, so we have done installing all our third-party dependencies via yarn. Next thing we need to do is we need to build our demos. To do that, we just have to type in npm npm run build. But before I do that, let's have a look at our theme and just leave this window open at the side so we can see what's happening when we run that command. Npm run build. So what it's doing here is just basically running the Webpack script, which deploys and bundles and builds all of Keen's demos. As you can see, the dist folder is basically generated using the npm run build. And now that we have our dist, if you have a look into it, we see our assets and demos. Assets will be our assets folders, our assets files and folders, which is our CSS, JS, media, and vendors. And then each within demo 1, we have all of our components, our custom pages, our custom elements, our dashboard, our layout options. Demo 2. So let's go back to our command prompt and run or set up a localhost server. Do that, if you have a look in our last step, is to run this command called npm run localhost. Let's go ahead and do that. Now, if you run into an error whilst trying to run localhost, the thing that we recommend you to do is to update or try to update your node.js and your npm and yarn as well before you try it. Okay, so our localhost is running and we can see all of our demos here. We can just click on say demo 1. We'll have a look at our demo 1 demo. Alright, there it is. You have been running with Webpack all ready to go. So this is essentially the quick and easy way on how you can set up your Webpack. The next thing that you want to do is demonstrate within this video is to actually showcase to you, or basically preview to you on the different options that you can use with the build commands. So if we have a look in our Webpack build tools documentation, what we've done is we've basically built Webpack or built Keen using Webpack, and we ran localhost to set up our localhost server. However, if you want to set up a watch command, which is a task where it automatically compiles or recompiles your CSS.js and deploy to the assets folder automatically upon every change within the source, you can just run npm run watch. So in order for us to demonstrate all these other demos or these other options here, we first need to cut our localhost, and do that by pressing Ctrl+C and press on it a few times, and then ask you whether you want to terminate the batch. Just say yes, and you're out of localhost. So let's try and build. Maybe instead of building all 6 demos, we just want to build one. So let's go ahead and build just say demo 1. Do that, we just go ahead and type in npm run build and then -- demo equals demo 1. and go ahead and run that. And wait for bundle to be finished. Oh yeah, that's right. We do delete our list. Okay, and let's run it again. The reason why I have to delete it is because we've already built all 6 demos. So what we've done here is we just overridden demo 1 with the latest files. So let's go to this, and you see just demo 1. Next, we would like to show you how to compile or build a RTL project. What you can do here is you just can type in npm build, or npm run build, how many spaces, dash RTL. Let's enter on that, and Webpack will do its thing. And what it does is it just deploys the RTL version of the RTL CSS versions of the demos. As you can see, it's building all the demos as well again, but with the RTL option. Go ahead and have a look. See our RTL CSS. Okay, so we also have a production option. Production will be when you want to deploy your project onto a production server, basically to go live, and you would like to minify all your assets. So maybe what we can do is let's have a look into our source, and maybe we'll look at our style.bundle.css, which is at the moment not minified. And now let's run our production option. Okay, so type in npm run build prod, and let it do its thing again. Alright, it's done. So let's have a look at our editor. As you can see, it is now all minified. So this is a very good way for you to just deploy your project to your live production server by minifying all your JS, CSS, and yeah. You can see our JS files is also minified. That. And let's move on to our next option, which is to set true or false to include or exclude our SAS and CSS related files. So what it does is, let's go ahead and delete our dist folder again to reset our Webpack build. And whilst this is running, let's go ahead and type in our command, which is npm run build -css equals, then you can set it true or false. It's set to true by default, but we can set to false right now to see what happens. And we let Webpack run. Alright, this is done. So let's have a look at our IDE. Let's go back into our dist assets, and let's go to CSS demo 1, and as you can see, we do not have any CSS compiles because we set CSS Box. Right, so next thing is let's look at similar with our CSS, you also have an option to exclude all JS files. So again, let's delete our this folder and we run our command dash dash js equals false. It is done and let run. Okay, so now let's look at our IDE. Go to this assets. As you can see, our JS files is actually missing as well. We go to our demo one, we see our CSS, but we do not see our JS. So these are the main options for our build, Webpack build. So another thing that you might want to note is you can combine options together. To do that, let's say we want to do a production build, but we only need demo one. So we do a dash dash prod for production and dash dash demo equals demo one. We run that. Oops, delete this folder. Let's stop this. Make sure our this folder is deleted and run that again. Alright, now let's have a look into our folder. We go to our dist, and as you can see, only demo 1 is here instead of all the demos. And if you look into our editor, let's look at set CSS, and this is our CSS file, and it is also minified. Go to our JS, it's minified, and it's only building demo 1. So as you can see, you can just add different options next to each other, and it will do necessary build. Right, moving on to our next part of this video tutorial is perhaps to actually have a look at what's in the build config. So let's look at this folder here, which is tools, Webpack, and in this Webpack folder, as you can see, you have a main demo.js, which basically lists of all of Keen's demo options. And within the script.js, we have all of the plugins that is being included within Keen. Now let's have a look at a custom config file, build config file. So if we go to our datatables.js under the vendor's custom, we can see all the required libraries or dependencies for this data table or for Keen's data table. Also, one thing that we like to note is within Webpack, it's best that you set or you specify an output file or an output destination. So for this data table example, the output will be located within the vendor's custom data tables and data table bundle. So all of this we bundled up into the data table bundle. So where is this located is when we build it, it basically goes to the vendor's custom data tables, which is custom data tables and data table bundle. So basically, the CSS and JS files, as mentioned, is automatically detected and then split and then bundled up into its own file. So this is CSS and this is JS, and everything is basically minified because we're using the production option. There is also, if we go back to our data table, there's also another option. Instead of add output, there's also another option called add images to bundle up to deploy the media images that a plugin or element requires. So let's try to locate if there is anything like this JS tree. As you can see here, it has images that needs to be included into the assets folder. So we declare it here. And if you go to the assets media, and then we go to vendors, and then we have a JS tree, and then we have this little PNG. So this is how you can understand how Webpack dependencies work. And if you need to add your own plugin, what you can do is, well, first you have two options here. One option is if the plugin is available within a npm or yarn library, you can just go ahead and type in yarn add like so. Yarn, oops, remove all this, yarn add, and then type of there yarn, and then the package, the plugin package. So it can be, say, is Bootstrap, will be like Bootstrap or something, and then you just add it. So once you've added the package, you then need to include it into your Webpack module. So what happens here is you go to your scripts.js, and what you do is you just basically type in a new line, require, and then the path of your new plugin. So since if you're using yarn or using npm to install the plugin, it most likely is going to be within the node module. So you just have to look for the plugin within node modules, and then just find the JS file or the CSS file that needs to be included, and then you just include it. Now, some plugins require you to initialize them after including them into the bundle. So to include them, you just have to type in a require something. For example, if we have a look at our demos, let's go to vendors and go to custom, and let's look at API, which is one of our later plugins that we've integrated with Keen. As you can see here, we are including API, the CSS file, and we need to set window.api equals require API. So if you have a look at our documentation right here, run a little bit. So what it does here is it basically sets this plugin to be able to be used globally within your project, and it also fixes the browser to recognize that the plugin every time you use the new something. That this example is drop zone. For example, API will be new API, and you can move on from there. And similar, we can just add your CSS files just by requiring it like so, and that's about it. In the next part is basically how the Webpack config structure looks like. Our demos, we have demos, and then each of our demos, and each demo will have a script and a style.js to specify the scripts that needs to be required, and styles that needs to be required within the demo bundle. And then same with vendors, all the npm or yarn bundles or third-party plugins that comes together for Keen. Within the vendors, we have two folders, which is the custom and global. So let's have a look at our source or Webpack config. So as you can see, Webpack, we have our demos, and our demo 1, which is scripts and styles. So this is the script, so it's requiring scripts and the layout of demo 1. And in styles is basically the styles.sass that's going to be required from demo 1 to be bundled up into demo 1's assets. Then after demos, we have our global JS files that needs to be included, and we have also custom. As you can see here, custom is basically just custom vendor files that we do not want to include in the global bundle, simply because we don't use those custom plugins as often as global plugins. Then in the demo.js is all where we list all of our demos, and in scripts.js is all of Keen's core scripts listed together for to be included in the bundle, or to be included into the build, which is C of demos and all of stuff is being required. Like I said, you can just include your stuff here, or you can just add a new one, a new custom one, and then just start configuring from this file. Alright, so that pretty much wraps up the Webpack installation video, or this Webpack installation video. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you find this video informative. If you did, please give us a like. Also subscribe to our YouTube channel so that every time we release a new video, you get an update. Also turn on the notification bell so that you get a notification whenever we release any video. Please also like us on our social media portals like Facebook and Twitter. Links will be all the links will be in the description below. And that's it. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.